USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@RamsUpPodcast. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined often by my football guru, Ian, along with a bunch of other friends of the show on occasion. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back, Ram fans. Mark from Rams Up here. Got a quick drop here for you. Going to cover a few things. And before we get started, this is episode 732. So we're going to talk about a player who wore number 32 for our Rams. Now, a lot of fans this current offseason had been clamoring for a big, powerful running back for our Los Angeles Rams, this 2025 version. Well, if you like big, powerful running backs, man, let's go back to the 1970s. You would have loved number 32, Colin Bryant, 6'1", 234 pounds, out of Colorado, the University of Colorado. The Rams picked him up in the second round of the 1973 draft, played 10 years for the Rams, 73 through 82, then went to the Seahawks, came back to the Rams in 1987. So 11 years with the Rams, 3,119 yards and 20 touchdowns. His best year was 1980, 183 carries for 807 yards. It's a 4.4 average. He also had 53 catches for 386 yards that season too. And he scored the first touchdown in Super Bowl 14. A little bit of history about him. In 1975, he was sent to the Lions. This was the new Rozelle rule. The Rams had signed wide receiver Ron Jesse from the Lions. So the Rams had to send Bryant to the Lions as compensation. Well, Carol Rosenblum, the Rams owner, encouraged Bryant to take that to court, and it actually worked. The NFL backed off, modified the rule, and Bryant was allowed to stay with the Rams. Now, another little bit of trivia from here. His actual name was William Cullen Bryant, and if you do a search for that, don't be surprised if the return is an old-looking gentleman from the early 20th century, and that would be the great poet William Cullen Bryant. And it turns out Cullen Bryant's father was a big fan of poetry, and Cullen Bryant was named after the poet William Cullen Bryant. A little bit of fun facts there for you regarding our number 32 for the Los Angeles Rams, Colin Bryant. He was a beast with the ball in his hands. Hey, for some of you newer listeners, probably aren't aware that I used to do something called a sports pet peeve, and my special assistant that knows everything but prefers to remain anonymous sent this one to me, and he's absolutely right. And it's a perfect time to talk about it because it is Stanley Cup season. We're going to jump into hockey real quickly. And his peeve is, if you high stick a player in hockey, it's a 2-minute penalty. But if they detect blood on the victim, it becomes a 4-minute penalty. And this is kind of ridiculous in my opinion, and my special assistant feels it's pretty silly too. And he sent me some video clips of referees checking for blood after a player was high sticked, deciding if it was a 2 or 4-minute penalty. And, it just seems kind of ludicrous if you think about it. There could be some very bad high sticks that don't draw blood, and then there can be minor ones, a little nick up around the chin that causes blood. Some players bleed easier than others. I can vouch for that myself. So that's our sports pet peeve for the Stanley Cup hockey season. High sticking, just make it a 2-minute penalty and move on from that. A 4-minute penalty is also, by the way, what a big difference that is. Really difficult to kill off a 4-minute penalty, that's for sure. So the schedule release is coming, and as a refresher, the Rams' home opponents, the Saints, Bucks, Lions, Texans, Colts, plus their divisional opponents, and their away opponents, Panthers, Falcons, Eagles, Jags, Titans, and Ravens, plus the 3 divisional opponents, of course. And, there's already some stuff circulating, possibilities. We'll get into that in a second. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, Ian and I talked about this the other day, could the Rams be playing at Philadelphia on that opening Thursday? And I went and looked at the Eagles' home opponents, and they got the Bears, Lions, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys, Raiders, and Broncos. And so the first thing I would do is I think we can eliminate the 2 AFC teams. I don't think that's provides the excitement that the NFL is looking in on opening day. The Cowboys, I could see that, but, a big divisional game on opening day, I think they've tried to avoid that recently, generally speaking. The Giants, they're still rebuilding. We don't know what they are quite yet. That could be a real kind of a crappy game, to be quite honest with you. And the Bears, I think the Bears will be improved, but I don't think that adds a lot of excitement. Bears at Eagles on the opening Thursday. So that leaves 3 teams, in my opinion. That would be the Lions, Commanders, and Rams. Now, the Commanders and the Eagles, that's a big game, extremely important divisional game. And I think for that reason, they may avoid it. I could see them doing that, though. That'd be an electric game, watching Jaden Daniels going up against Jalen Hurts on the opening Thursday. The Lions, they had that opening Thursday game against the Chiefs. That was an exciting game. Obviously, one of the better teams in the NFC, so I could see that. And then there's the Rams, a rematch of that divisional round game last year. I think it really comes down to the Lions or Rams if you think about it. So Ian could be onto something here. He's predicting Rams at Eagles on that opening Thursday. So we'll have to wait and see. And are the Rams England bound? The circulating on social media that what is it? Week 7 in London, Rams at Jags. Man, West Coast teams in London, that's a really tough draw. But I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. I think this is a game the Rams will be heavily favored to win, knowing what we know now, regardless of where it's played. But I am not a fan of the Rams playing in Europe. These international games are kind of cool, but hey, 10, 11, 12-hour flights, not great for the body. And, for the Jags, it would be obviously a much simpler proposition flying from Florida to England as opposed to California. But the Rams have, I should say the NFL has dealt with this before, and this is what I'm thinking for the Rams 2025 schedule. If they are indeed playing in Week 7 in London, I went back and looked at the 2019 schedule when the Rams played the Bengals in London, and that was the week prior, the Rams had played at Atlanta. And I think that's, a fair proposition. You take the Rams, you fly them out to Atlanta, and the other possible opponents for that Week 6 game would be Atlanta, Tennessee, and Carolina. So the Rams fly into Atlanta, Tennessee, or Carolina Week 6, play that opponent, stay on the East Coast, or just fly directly to London, and then they play the Jags in Week 7, and that, of course, would mean Week 8 would be their bye week. Not a bad place to have your bye, and I still think the Thursday night game's a strong possibility for the Rams. So we're learning a little bit about the Rams' schedule. If this is true, and I think it is, this London game, Week 7, the Rams will play at Atlanta, Tennessee, or Carolina. Week 7, another road game to the extreme in London versus the Jags. That would have been a Jags home game. And then Week 8 would be their bye week. In Week 18, I think it would be either the 49ers, Seahawks, or Cardinals, obviously. I'm predicting San Francisco. Who knows where that game would be. January 4th, Week 18. Hey, it could be that Sunday night game. See how things go. Remember, the 49ers are they got that fourth place schedule. Rams have their work cut out for them to make that game relevant. Hopefully it won't be relevant. Hopefully the Rams will have first place sealed up by then, but you never really know, do you?
This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules. And no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Now, we've been talking about Rams undrafted free agents, pecking away at them, trying to talk about each one of them as at one point or another. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, these are the undrafted free agents on offense, and we've talked about Ben Dooley, Trey Wettig, Willie Lampkin. We have also talked about Mario Williams and True Edwards. I've gone through that with Farbode and Scott Richmond. One of these guys or the other. We've talked about all these players, and I'm going to talk about another guy right now on this list, and that would be Brennan Presley, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. Now, Draft Network's Ryan Fowler loves this guy for the Rams, and now Presley on the smaller side, 5'8", 175, a good receiver, really good speed, 4.46 speed in the 40. He had 1,219 return yards at Oklahoma State. Extremely fast, obviously really good route runner, good yards after the catch. But of course, there's those size limitations. And, the more I thought about this signing, Presley was probably not too thrilled when the Rams signed Britton Covey. A lot of similarities here in their size and playing style. And Presley's going to have his work cut out for him making this team, but he looks to be an explosive player that may be destined for the practice squad, but he does have a skill set that's very interesting. And he must be really bummed that the Rams signed Covey, because there seems to be a lot of similarities. The big difference, of course, Covey is a one-time Pro Bowler kick returner, and Presley, he's going to have a really strong training camp and turn some heads in the return game, and I suspect he will be returning kicks in the preseason. That would be my guess. But Brennan Presley, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. Ryan Fowler of Draft Network loves this guy. We'll have to see see how it works out, but keep your eye on Brennan Presley. Now, I had mentioned the other day, what the Rams might do moving forward as far as, free agent signings in 2026 and how they're going to handle things, what free agents they might go after. And I have here on the screen for those of you listening on the podcast to walk you through this 2025 dead cap money. The big hits are Cooper Kupp, $22 million, Joseph Noteboom, $10 million, Aaron Donald, $10 million. I'm rounding here. Jonah Jackson, $8.5 million, and a sprinkling of other guys as well. The total, over $50 million. That's the seventh most. But next year, zero dead cap money against players no longer with the team. But that can be a little misleading, because after June 1st, there could be some dead cap money piled on for the 2026 season if they move on from particular players. I'm not going to mention any names because I just hate doing that. But there are a handful of players, 2 or 3 players the Rams could move on for, and this dead cap money would be elevated, of course. But they're in a really good place. These rookie classes of the last couple years, they will be on the books with their rookie contracts. And then, we're going to have to deal with Kyron Williams and some of the guys from his rookie class. But Rams are in a really good place in 2026 as far as the salary cap goes. So they'll have some options, maybe not just drafting a quarterback. Maybe there's a veteran they could bring in instead, but we'll have to see about that. My preference would be to draft one of these guys from this great quarterback class coming out in 2026. Got some off-season dates just for refresher here. The off-season OTA off-season workouts, May 27th, 28th, the 30th, and into June, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, 9th, and 10th, and then that mandatory mini camp in Maui, June 16th through 18th. What else we got? The Rams draft picks, getting their jerseys assigned. I don't know how many of them get to pick their numbers, but here we have it. Terrence Ferguson, number 18, Josiah Stewart, number 41, Jarquez Hunter, number 35, Ty Hamilton, number 57, Pooh Paul, number 54, and Konate Mumpfield, number 15. Now, here's a little exercise for you. Let's try to think of players of note who have worn these numbers. Number 18 should be pretty easy. Cooper Kupp wore that number for 3 years. Josiah Stewart, let's consider Todd Light, perhaps, certainly one of the more prominent players to wear that number. Jarquez Hunter, Aeneas Williams wore that when he was with the Rams. Ty Hamilton. How about Chris Chamberlain? Pretty decent quarterback for our Los Angeles Rams, actually, with St. Louis. Pooh Paul, don't have to go back too far to find a really prominent player who wore that number. That would be Leonard Floyd. And Konate Mumpfield, but DeMarcus Robinson wore that just last year, and Vince Ferragamo, our Super Bowl quarterback, wore that back in the day. So James Jones, former Packer wide receiver, he was talking about who can challenge the Eagles, and he stated what I think is becoming more and more obvious, I think, almost a consensus feeling. It's the Los Angeles Rams. He just feels like that young defense, another year to play together, adding Davante Adams. And, I think shouldn't be that surprising at this point. The only thing in the 49ers' favor, I mean, they're a great football team, and they're going to give the Rams a run for their money. But the one thing that is certainly in their favor is the schedule. But CBS Sportsline, their simulator has the Rams winning. Actually, let's take a look at this. They had the Rams winning the division 35% of the time. The 49ers just shy of 30% of the time. And if you look at the betting books, it's really swung back to the Rams, pretty much split even, depending on which sporting book you go to. You can get some of them have the 49ers favored, some have the Rams favored, and which is even more impressive from the Rams position. Again, going back to that schedule, that last place schedule versus first place schedule. So I think the consensuses and the odds makers are really giving the Rams a big nod in their favor, considering the schedule differences. But that's still going to be a lot to overcome. I'm not discounting the 49ers. I'm not discounting any team in the NFC West. This could actually turn out to be a really strong division. But James Jones, maybe giving a shout out to one of his old Packer buddies, Davante Adams. But nonetheless, he thinks the Rams are the team the Eagles have the most to worry about. Hey, and did you check the Behind the Grind episode 1? It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. A lot of times these shows are a little too fluffy for me, to be quite honest, but they went through Braden Fisk's injury and his work to get back to 100% seems to be going as planned. They shared McVay's speech at the end. It's the day after the loss to the Eagles. And the takeaway there for me was, they went into that game fully expecting to win. And that's the right approach. You're not going to question that. And so when they did lose, it was, it was tough to deal with. But McVay building that culture in Los Angeles, just reminding this team that 2024 season and that 2024 roster, those guys will be linked together for something really special that happened. They came up a little short, but teammates forever, I think, was the message. And let's come back and finish the job next year. And then in the Behind the Grind, same episode, they shared McVay's introductory speech, and a lot of it had to do with, at least part of it was showboating Davante Adams. And, it was pretty cool. He was showing film to the viewers and his team, how special he is. And, I don't know much about Davante Adams, the person, but I have seen clips of him working with youth football camps. And he's a special guy. You can tell that he really connects with kids, and I love to see that. They also had Les Snead talking about the roster turnover. It was a pretty good segment there, and the challenges of replacing guys and bringing back. He highlighted bringing back a Lyric Jackson and Ahkello Witherspoon as being two really big pieces to the puzzle. And they also had a segment on the rookie dinner that three of the three guys that came up together as rookies: Kobe Turner, Davis Allen, and Steve Avila. And it's something that maybe as fans we don't appreciate, the challenges of three guys coming from Texas and South Carolina and back east, and trying to establish new lives in Los Angeles with their families, with no roots, and at the same time trying to make an NFL roster, and how challenging that can be, and how it's just upsetting your whole life. And they all had concerns about what it was going to be like leaving their families behind and close friends. And I think the takeaway for me was that they all kind of latched on to each other and formed a bond, especially those three guys. That was really special to see. You could just feel it watching them having their little dinner. And it was kind of cool to see, and something that perhaps we don't appreciate very much. the challenges of these very young men establishing, creating new lives professionally and socially in a brand new place. We kind of take that part of it for granted sometime. Hey, we're going to have a friend of the show back on. Not going to give it away. Someone that's been with us a couple of times. He's going to come back and join me Saturday, maybe share that segment Saturday night, hopefully. And just a reminder, this is a great time of year. If you're a fan of this show and you want to talk Rams football, just talk about how much you love this team, the history, this current roster, whatever you want to talk about, send me an email at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. Join me for 15, 20 minutes talking Rams football. I'll make it easy for you. And if you are one of those friends of the show who have been on previously, and hey, I'm not getting a lot of takers for the Rapping with Ram Fans sessions, so send me an email and we'll get you back for episode 2, segment 2 of Rapping with a Ram Fan. Have you back on the show. Great time of year to do it. Hope to hear from you. That's all I got out here from Rams Up.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.